Give me a crazy person, I'll reject him.
Donald Trump.
See, that's your problem. He's not crazy.
Greg Gutfeld and Jessica Tallow engage in a heated live TV debate as they discuss one of the day's most divisive subjects, Sparfly. Jess Gutfeld doesn't mince words, so don't miss this conversation that will never be forgotten for more must-watch moments. Jessica passionately defends her side, but do her reasons hold up? If you prefer contentious discussions in unexpected ways, hit the like button and subscribe. Are you ready to begin?
Tampons him. Yes, I would like to talk about it.
Good.
You know what? If you knew anything about the pink tax or how difficult it is for women when they have their period and they don't have access to tampons.
It's not
and
about
pads,
women.
it
They
is
can
about
get as many tampons as they
Wait,
want.
that's not
Give
what I
them
hear.
free tampons. It's the boys.
I want to hear
The
this.
point of having menstrual products available in a boys' bathroom is it's for 4th to 12th graders, I think, that if there is someone who identifies, if there is a biological female who identifies as male and uses that, your laughing will be the undoing of yourself.
You're encouraging empathy, which we all admire,
No, you
go
don't.
into an irrational
You
world.
don't admire it. I need to say something
No
about the
one is
National Guard.
using the
There are-
boys' bathroom that's menstruating, Jessica.
That's not-
I would like to pull back and talk about something that would help the Democrat Party if they only listened. I'm going to pretend that I'm not talking to Jessica, but I'm talking to the whole Democratic Party. So liberals, in their very best sense, are the party of empathy and compassion. Their problem is they extend that benefit to people who prey upon innocent citizens. That is their problem. They don't know the boundaries to their compassion or their empathy, and that's why they need conservatives to say, hey, knock it off, pull back. But why do liberals have to accept certain positions that are that bad? Like, why do they have to make excuses for rioters and looters? That is not necessarily a liberal position. They don't have to do it. So if you think of other liberal positions, arguing for surgical transitions for children, banning school choice, funding foreign wars, bailing out felons. What if these aren't liberal positions? They're just awful ones. Then you could reject them. You don't have to sit here and defend tampons for boys. You could just say, you know what, there's nothing liberal about that.
Tamping in men's lavatories is a controversial practice that Jessica Tallow supported because she valued diversity and supporting biological females who identify as male. Greg Gutfeld, on the other hand, was not convinced and used his sharp sense of humor to refute the logic of such policies. Gutfeld argued that the issue is not whether we are willing to tolerate absurdity, but rather how far we are willing to go. This was a heated debate about the boundaries between pragmatism and empathy, not just another argument.
Reject them. You don't have to sit here and defend tampons for boys. You could just say, you know what, there's nothing liberal about that, right? Only nut jobs want kids to have nut jobs. It's not about being liberal or conservative. But the problem is the Democrats have allowed radicals to define what is liberal. So tampons for boys, suddenly, Jessica, you have to defend it. You shouldn't have to. You know, liberals were always against conversion therapy. That was a psychological attempt at curing homosexuality. Now they're defending invasive surgical solutions to do the same thing. How did that become liberal and the other one not? So it's a plea that, like, you don't have to defend this crap. You don't have to defend tampons for boys. You should laugh at it and go, this is bullshit. I don't believe any of it. And then all of a sudden you find that the Democrats and the Republicans are in the same room again. We reject our crazies. It's time for you guys to reject them.
Okay.
Give me a crazy person, I'll reject him.
Donald Trump.
See, that's your problem. He's not crazy.
Problem.
That's your problem.
That's exactly the problem.
There's nothing that he believes in that comes close to tampons for boys or for pushing trans surgeries on children because they're suffering from a psychological delusion. There's nothing like that in the conservative movement. But the Democrats have embraced these things because they're so scared of being called lack of.
Gutfeld extended the conversation. While admitting that liberals enjoy their empathy, he said that their compassion sometimes extends to those who take advantage of it. He went on to criticize the Democratic Party for not enforcing constraints on irrational policies. He mentioned polarizing viewpoints like advocating for gender transitions for kids and safeguarding rears by supporting tampons in malls' restrooms. Jessica objected that these weren't only leftist opinions, but Gutfeld said that radical voices are influencing the Democratic agenda. He called attention to what he saw as hypocrisy in favoring tampons in boys' laboratories while rejecting practical alternatives like school choice. He also took issue with a shift in liberal views that had previously rejected conversion therapy but now supported life alternative methods for children who struggled with identity issues. One of the most insightful aspects of the discussion was Jessica's evident annoyance as she struggled to reply to his harsh critiques when he asked how one person became liberal while the other did not.
Okay.
Give me a crazy person, I'll reject him.
Donald Trump.
See, that's your problem. He's not crazy. That's your
The disagreement reached a climax when Gutfeld urged Democrats to reject the more radical parts of that party as Republicans had done. Jessica's initial response was to name Donald Trump as the extremist leader of the golf club, but Gutfeld didn't believe it, so that's your problem, he replied. Trump is not advocating for child surgeries or tampons in boys' lavatories in order to avoid being accused of having heartless yide and dosy views. This debate was more about the ideological divide in modern politics than it was about tampons or transgender issues, but the audience couldn't help but notice as Jessica's arguments started to fail under close examination. Gutfeld's message was clear: decisions must be made logically, especially when they involve policies that affect children and vulnerable populations. He highlighted the Democratic Party's greatest flaw, which he believed to be its unwillingness to reject extreme viewpoints and distinguish between foolish policies and true compassion. Additionally, he warned that if Democrats permit extremist voices to continue to dominate the discourse, they risk losing the trust of average Americans. As the topic continues to spark debate both online and offline, these are the concerns that still need to be addressed. Where does the line between irrationality and empathy lie, and is there still space for a middle ground in a society where extremes are dividing people more and more? Guts' fever to destroy was not only amusing, but it also taught us about ineffective defenses and bad policies. Though Jessica's arguments may have resonated with some, Gutfeld's opinions were unforgettable. Did Gutfeld properly identify irrationality? If you agree with Jessica's viewpoint, please leave a comment below. Before you go, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more bold arguments, musty times, and the analysis.